Good afternoon. Vice President Sara Duterte says the ongoing investigations against alleged sex offender Apollo Quiboloy is a trial by publicity. Duterte makes the pronouncement through a video statement posted by Sunshine Media Network International. This comes amid a Senate panel's order of arrest against Quiboloy, who is currently being investigated for allegations of abuses he committed against women and children. Duterte asserts that the ongoing investigations against the pastor should instead be brought to court. Duterte also sees the probe as a form of violence, which she claims many believe is unfair. She likewise tags the ongoing SMNI suspension case as a media freedom issue after the National Telecommunications Commission suspended the network over alleged franchise violations. The Vice President says she is calling for the enforcement of law and justice in the issue involving Quiboloy and SMNI. According to Duterte, Quiboloy has supposedly already been presumed guilty in the ongoing hearings. She adds the hearings rely solely on the accusations of witnesses whose credibility cannot be proven. Prior to the statement's release, reporters continuously sought Duterte's comment on the Quiboloy probe through the office of the Vice President but received no response. A former Kingdom of Jesus Christ member earlier claimed he saw Vice President Duterte and former President Rodrigo Duterte visit Quiboloy's property carrying a bag of firearms as they left. However, the Dutertes have since denied this accusation. The Department of Foreign Affairs says it had received several maritime-related proposals from China, but adds they could not be considered because they were against the Philippines' national interests. According to the DFA, among China's proposals was one where it insisted on actions that would be deemed as recognition of China's control over Ayungin Shoal. The DFA says the Philippines could not consider such a proposal without violating the Constitution or international law. The DFA is responding to a news article quoting an unnamed ranking Chinese official who said Beijing's maritime-related proposals were met with inaction by the Philippine government. According to the DFA, the Philippine government is approaching the confidential negotiations with good faith. It adds it was surprised by China's disclosure of sensitive details of their bilateral discussions. Quoting the unnamed Chinese official, the news article said China presented 11 concept papers proposing ways to manage Ayungin Shoal and fishing issues in Scarborough Shoal. The DFA denies the Chinese official's claims, saying the Philippines did not ignore China's proposals. Two more National Food Authority officials are suspended, including the recently appointed officer in charge, amid an ongoing investigation into the allegedly anomalous sale of the government's rice buffer stocks. The Office of the Ombudsman has placed recently appointed NFA officer in charge Piolito Santos and acting department manager for operation and coordination Jonathan Yazon under preventive suspension in connection with the controversy. Following their suspension, Department of Agriculture Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel Jr. will again sit as NFA administrator, while DA Director Larry Lacson will be the officer in charge deputy administrator. According to Tiu Laurel, the DA wants to stabilize the situation at the NFA following the suspensions. In an order handed down on March 4, the Office of the Ombudsman ordered the 6-month preventive suspension of NFA Administrator Roderico Bioco along with 138 other officials and employees of the food agency. This is to pave the way for an investigation into the supposedly anomalous rice deal. NFA Assistant Administrator for Operations Lemuel Pagayunan earlier claimed that Bioco and other officials sold 75,000 bags of rice worth about 93 million pesos to private traders. Pagayunan said the officials authorized the sale without the approval of the NFA Council. He also said the transaction did not undergo a public bidding. Bioco refuted these allegations and said that he was authorized as NFA administrator to dispose of the rice without the NFA Council's approval. Two Filipino boxers have secured their spots in the 2024 Paris Olympics. Nesthy Petecio seized a ticket to the Paris Olympics in July after she pounded Turkey to advance to the women's 57-kilogram finals at the first World Qualification Tournament in Italy. She is the first female boxer to clinch 2 consecutive Olympic berths. Joining Petecio in Paris is compatriot Aira Villegas, who likewise secured an Olympic quota with a unanimous decision victory over Bulgaria in the women's 50-kilogram. Petecio and Villegas will be in the company of fellow boxer and Tokyo Olympic bronze medalist Yumir Marshall in Paris. along with pole vaulter EJ Obiena and gymnasts Carlo Yulo and Alea Finnegan. Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. Vice President Sara Duterte says probe against Pastor Apollo Quiboloy is trial by publicity, asserting that investigations against the pastor should be brought to court. Filmmaker Jade Castro and his 3 other companions released from prison. And Nesthy Petecio and Aira Villegas qualify for Paris Olympics boxing. These are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good afternoon.